to my little workshop. I thought tonight I'd do a quick video because this is about to leave after around about a year of slowly getting it done. I thought I'd best do a little showcase of some of my custom mods, plastics, laminates, and what better to show it off than a SpiderMan pinball. So I've had 3 or 4 SpiderMan pinballs, and this one was the one I was going to keep for myself, but I got talked out of it. Just to put a little into context, this machine was bought just over a year ago during lockdown, and I think I paid around about £1,800 for this. It wasn't in the state that you see it now. I've given it a nice powder coat. I've stripped the whole play field. I've renewed all the flippers, the 3 flippers, all the mechs, rebuilt the pop bumpers, all new skirts, bodies, and I've put a vault plastic set on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to run across and show you some of the things I've done to make this a kind of limited edition SpiderMan, a little different from the norm. So before the new owner collects this, he's on hot bricks and he's waiting to pick it up. I thought I'd do a quick video and show you what I've done to this machine. I've kind of gone overboard because I was going to keep it for myself. So my SpiderMan limited edition plaque and shooter plaque, it's my little signature thing I put on my pins. I've added those along with replacing the tournament button, a little pet hate of mine. Sams of this era have that annoying button, so I've made myself a plaque. I've put it centre of the lock bar. I'm not sure, that's kind of monkeying with my OCD. I think the middle of the apron might have worked better, but that's easy removed. It's just double-sided tape. Moving on up to the apron, which I've also powder coated, I've replaced where the inlayer cards go. I've replaced them with my own little spiders, black acrylic. I wasn't sure if this was going to work, but actually turned out really well. The legs just jutting out in the outlane there, and it just adds that little something. A lot of the stuff I do ends up in the bin. This will be revisited on another pin, I'm sure. Just gives it that little finish, along with the logo in the middle there. Yeah, that came out well. Moving up the playfield, we can see them awesome vault plastics, which just seem at home with this pin, especially because the playfield doesn't have any of that awful movie cut and paste art on. That some may love, just not for me. So when the new owner popped in, have a look, the one thing he noticed was that stern floorboard-esque speaker panel. I'm sure they were cost cutting at the time and they got a lot of floorboards cheap. And it was letting down their overall pin, so we decided we'd do something about that. So on the fly, I cut a little bit red acrylic and 2 circles, dropped them in, overlaid that with a SpiderMan text in a larger acrylic 5mm, so it just stands out and gives it that 3D effect. Something so simple really did look good. So I was happy I just spent a little time and done that. So another thing I've put on here, I usually go for art blades, but on this one I've put mirror blades. It really opens up the play field, and it mirrors all that bling from my fluorescent protectors, the comets and the silken red rubbers. I think it works better on this pin with the return ramps being metal and lower down. You get to see a lot of the play field in the reflection. Doesn't work with all pins. I think when you've got them big plastic return ramps, who wants to see 2 of them nasty things? But for SpiderMan, for me, it just hit the spot. Really nice. So on to my plastic protectors. They're made of 3mm acrylic, and they are oversized by about 1mm, sometimes 1.5. The slings and the guides were the idea of Keith at New Forest Pinball, who asked me to make those. He's done quite a few SpiderMan pinballs. They turned out really nice, hence ending up on my pin. I think the first thing people look for when viewing a SpiderMan is the dock, where There's none whatsoever on this one. Absolutely fantastic. I've had 3 SpiderMan pinballs. This is by far the best of them. Again, the blue fluorescents have been extended on a Doc's Vuk and the pop bumpers, and they actually do pop as they fire off. To carry on the theme there, everything on Sandman is yellow. I've replaced that web at the back, and again the Vuk plastics have been replaced along with the main plastic at the drop targets with a little bit of a frosted acrylic just to give it that sand effect. Moving on to the left hand side, as you can see, obvious green goblin has got a green fluorescent protector along with a new goblin. He doesn't jump around like the old one, but I just like the look of that one. I think it was a very, very poor model from Stern, if I'm being honest. So the web on the back of Venom there was another idea from Keith at New Forest. Thanks for that, Keith. And it looks really well. Comets have been fitted throughout, including the flashes, but you probably noticed the ones on the back here are incandescents. I couldn't actually get the LEDs to fit there. Would someone give me a tip just to sand them down a little bit, which I'm going to do at a later date if the new owner wants me to. I think it's worth a close-up of the Doc Ock just to show how nice this one is, and it's had an easy life. Many of them are really tore up around that area. That goes for the ramps on SpiderMan as well. If you don't fit the ramp entrance protectors like I've done on this pin, these ramps can get cracked within a week of owning a brand new SpiderMan. So I think it's well worth mentioning the powder coat on this pin. I was at Crispy Pinballs and I saw a SpiderMan he'd just finished with this exact colour, and I was seeing how nice it would be if I could get that done for mine. So he kindly offered. I don't think he normally does this, but it was probably one of the things that stand out on this pin and just enhance it. The cabinet's not the best cabinet, but that powder coat just helps it on no end. Carried through onto the legs, which won't be fitted until it's set up at the new owner's house, along with leg levelers, balls, and obviously bolts. So onto the cabinet. As I said, it's not the best cabinet, but it's by far not the worst I've had. The best of my 3 pins anyhow, SpiderMan pins. There's a few nicks here and there. I haven't tried to touch those in. I like to be up front with the owner, and generally most of the time they sit in a lineup and you don't even see that. The front's nice, hasn't had a lock bar. Again, very, very little damage there. Maybe the odd scuff, and the same on the other side. I can't get in quite as good this side, but I can assure you it's just as nice as the other side. All in all, it's turned out a lovely pin. Will I regret getting rid of it? Not really. It's 2 doors down from me, as it's a neighbour and a good friend who's bought the pin from me. There's a few things left to do. I would probably replace that chrome trim with a red one. It needs 4 reflectors there on order. They'll be turning up. And if there's any other bits and bobs need doing, I'll pop along and I'll help them with those. So if there's anything you see that you like, get in touch with me, Col, also known as Collie Wobbles, on the forum pinballinfo.com. I also have my own thread on there, Col's Pinball Mods. So all that's left to say, guys, is thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more content like this. In the meantime, cradle those balls and make every shot count.